Most people think the speed of light is just a fast number in physics, a clean number you memorize in school, repeat on tests, and then forget. 299,792,458 meters per second. It sounds like a record, like a brag, like the universe saying, this is the fastest thing I can do. And because it feels like a record, people assume it works like a record. They imagine the speed of light as a rule posted on a cosmic highway, as if nature placed a giant sign in space that says, speed limit do not exceed. If you try to go faster, you get punished. If you push harder, the universe blocks you, like a strict law invented by someone in charge. But that's not what it is. Feynman's genius wasn't just that he could explain complicated ideas. It's that he could take something you thought was ordinary and show you it was hiding something much more serious underneath, something structural, something unavoidable. And when he talked about the speed of light, the message wasn't light is fast. The message was, the universe has a built-in limit on how reality connects to itself. Because the speed of light is not really about light. It's about information. It's about influence. It's about how one event can affect another event. If you clap your hands in a room, the sound spreads outward. If you turn on a flashlight, the light spreads outward. If you shake a charged particle, electromagnetic waves spread outward. In every case, something changes in one place, and that change travels. So the real question is not, how fast can light go? The real question is, how fast can the universe tell itself that something happened? And the answer is, not infinitely fast. That's the part people miss, because light speed feels like a property of photons, but it's a property of space-time itself. It is the maximum speed that cause can reach effect. The maximum speed at which the present can shape the future. It is the maximum speed at which the universe can update reality across distance. Now, if you think about it like that, it stops being a random number. It becomes a deep constraint, a boundary that defines what even counts as possible. Feynman would often do this thing where he didn't start with formulas. He started with a situation you could feel. Imagine you are standing somewhere in the universe and something explodes far away. You want to know right now, not later, but you can't. No matter how advanced you are, no matter how powerful your sensors are, you cannot receive the information instantly. The message has to travel, and it travels through space-time at a finite rate. That means there is always a delay between reality happening and you being allowed to know it happened. And that delay is not a technological problem. It is not a limitation of your machines. It is not because your spaceship isn't strong enough. It is a limitation of the universe itself, a built-in delay in existence, a kind of latency that no intelligence can remove. This changes everything, because it means the universe is not one single synchronized system. It's not one global now. There is no universal clock ticking for everyone at once. The present is local. What counts as right now depends on where you are and how you are moving. The speed of light is what makes that true. And once you accept that, you start to see why Einstein said space and time aren't separate. They are welded together. Not because it sounds poetic, but because that welding is how the speed limit stays consistent. If there were no speed limit, reality would be chaotic in a way we can barely describe. Every event could instantly reach every other event. The universe would be fully connected without delay. There would be no separation between distant places, no meaningful distance at all, because distance would not slow influence. But we do have distance, we do have delay, we do have separation. And that separation is not a flaw. It's part of the structure. Feynman pushed this idea even further by forcing you to look at it from a different angle. It's not just that nothing goes faster than light, it's that the concept of faster than light breaks the logic of space-time. Because speeds don't exist by themselves. Speeds exist relative to time and distance, and time and distance are woven into a single geometry. When you move through space, you also move through time. When you accelerate, you change how time passes. The speed of light is not just a limit on motion, but a boundary on how space and time can mix. That's why as you approach the speed of light, the universe doesn't simply say, stop. It changes the meaning of your journey. Time slows down for you relative to others. Distances shrink in your direction of travel. Your experience of the universe deforms, not as a trick, not as an illusion, but as a consequence of the structure holding together. So when people say, why can't we go faster than light? They are imagining the wrong problem. They imagine adding more fuel, more energy, more power. They think it's like pushing a car faster on the highway. But what Feynman points toward is darker. The speed of light isn't a highway rule. It's the framework that makes cause and effect possible at all. It's the invisible spine of reality. And once you see it that way, the speed of light stops being impressive. It becomes unsettling. It doesn't limit rockets. It limits how reality can transmit cause and effect. That sentence sounds simple, but it hides something that should make your brain stop for a second. Because in your everyday life, cause and effect feel automatic. You drop something, it falls. You touch a hot surface, you feel pain. You shout across a room, someone hears you. In normal life, everything feels instant enough that your mind treats it as instant. But the universe is not instant. The universe is a chain of messages, and every message has a speed. When a star explodes, the light of that explosion doesn't appear everywhere at once. It expands outward like a growing sphere. For a long time, most of the universe doesn't even know it happened. Even if that explosion is huge, even if it changes everything about the star, that change is still trapped inside a moving boundary, a limit to where its influence can reach. This is what physicists mean when they talk about causality. It's not philosophy, it's geometry. It's the rule that says effects cannot arrive before causes. Information cannot travel backward through time. And the speed of light is what enforces that rule. Think of it like this. Every event you experience is surrounded by a zone of influence, a region of spacetime it can affect. That region grows at the speed of light. Outside it, the event is powerless. It hasn't reached there yet. It cannot affect it yet. That means the universe has built-in permission boundaries. It decides what can influence what and when. It tells you which events are allowed to connect and which are forbidden. This is why the speed of light is the real limit. Not because photons are fragile, not because energy is hard to generate, not because nature is stingy, but because if information could move infinitely fast, the concept of before and after becomes unstable, and if before and after becomes unstable, logic becomes unstable. The universe stops being a sequence. It becomes a contradiction machine. Here's where it gets terrifying. If you could send a signal faster than light, then in some reference frames that signal would arrive before it was sent. Not metaphorically, literally. The order of events would flip depending on the observer. And once that happens, you can build scenarios where you send information into your own past. That's not science fiction. It's a direct consequence of special relativity. The mathematics doesn't care what you want. It only cares about consistency. And consistency is exactly what breaks. Because if you can send a message into your own past, you can create a paradox. You can warn yourself not to send the message, but then you never send it. But then you never get warned. So you do send it, but then you do get warned, so you don't. The universe cannot allow that loop without collapsing the concept of cause. And it's not just paradoxes in stories, it's worse. Because physics depends on predictability. Even quantum mechanics, which is probabilistic, still follows strict rules of consistency. It does not allow the same event to be both caused and uncaused. It does not allow one outcome to rewrite the conditions that created it. So the speed of light becomes the guardian of logical order. Now, here's the part that hits hard. The speed limit isn't there to make life difficult. It's there to make reality possible. Without it, there is no stable timeline, no stable chain, no reliable structure. The universe would be so interconnected that every event would instantly affect every other event, and the idea of local reality would disappear. You wouldn't have separations. You wouldn't have independent places. Everything would be entangled in a single instant. And if everything influences everything instantly, the concept of a system becomes meaningless. There is no isolation. There is no boundary. There is no here and there. There is no gradual propagation of influence. The universe would be perfectly synchronized, and that sounds nice until you realize it would erase the possibility of evolution, process, and causation. Feynman had a way of exposing this with sharp clarity. He would say, you think the laws of physics are rules, but they are deeper than rules. They are the only consistent ways reality can behave without contradicting itself. And the speed of light is one of those laws. It's why stars don't explode and instantly change the entire universe. It's why gravity doesn't update infinitely fast. It's why the present cannot rewrite the past. It's why the universe has structure instead of being a single frozen moment. So when you ask, why can't we go faster than light? The universe answers, because faster than light is not just faster motion, it is forbidden communication. It is forbidden influence. It is forbidden causality. This is what makes the limit feel terrifying, because it means the universe is not just physical matter moving around. It's a system with a strict information architecture, and you are trapped inside it. Your perception of time, your ability to know, your ability to affect, and your ability to escape distance, all of it is controlled by this one boundary. So the speed of light isn't a wall in space. It's a wall in logic. And that means the limit is not something you overcome with technology. It's something you would have to rewrite the universe itself to remove. If you could break it, time, order, and the logic of the universe would collapse. That is not exaggeration. It's not a dramatic metaphor. It's the natural consequence of removing the one rule that keeps causality stable. People often imagine breaking the speed of light as a heroic achievement, a breakthrough, a new engine, a new form of fuel, a warp drive, a wormhole, a moment where humanity escapes the cage of distance. But what if the cage is not a prison? What if it's a load-bearing beam? What if the speed of light is not holding us back, but holding reality up? That's the terrifying version. The version that doesn't feel like science fiction anymore. The version that feels like the universe is balanced on a hidden structure, and most people never notice it because life is smooth enough to ignore it. Feynman's answer would point to something simple but lethal. The laws of physics are not human-made rules. They are the only patterns that don't self-destruct. The speed of light limit isn't there because the universe is conservative. It's there because without a limit, you can't define a consistent order of events across the whole universe. And without consistent order, you can't define what caused what. So imagine you remove it. Imagine you allow a signal to travel instantly, or even just slightly faster than light. Suddenly, there's no single way to say which event happened first. You could create a chain of actions where the effect arrives first, triggers the cause later, and then the cause triggers the effect that already happened. A loop. A closed circle of influence with no beginning. That doesn't just confuse humans. It destroys prediction itself. And if prediction is destroyed, physics becomes meaningless. Because the entire point of physics is not to tell you what happened, it's to tell you what must happen next, given what happened before. Now here's the thing people don't like admitting. The universe does not owe us comfort. It owes us consistency. The laws are not designed to be intuitive, they are designed to be stable. So the speed of light is stability. It is the line the universe drew to stop contradictions from spreading. That's why the real reason is terrifying. It's not a rule, it's the structure of existence. Think about it. A rule is something you could, in theory, break. A rule is an external command. But structure is not optional. Structure is the way the system holds together. You can't remove the skeleton and expect the body to function. The speed of light is that skeleton. It is the maximum slope that connects cause to effect. It defines the cones of possibility that spread out from every moment in time. It tells you what future events are accessible and which are unreachable. It defines which information can arrive and when. It makes time behave like time. And that's why it's terrifying, because it means the limit is not a boundary in technology, it's a boundary in meaning. It limits what can be known, what can be changed, and what can be connected. It means the universe is not a free-for-all, it is an architecture, a design. Not designed by someone, but designed by logic itself. It's the only way the universe can exist without collapsing into paradox. And once you understand that, the speed of light stops being about speed. It becomes about permission. It becomes about reality choosing what is allowed to happen. Now, you might think this makes everything hopeless, like we're trapped, like we can never go beyond, but here's the twist that makes it feel even darker and even more beautiful. The limit doesn't stop you from doing extraordinary things. It just forces extraordinary things to obey the deeper logic. You can bend space-time, you can slow time, you can stretch space, you can build clocks so precise they reveal the gravitational difference between floors of a building. You can watch black holes merge from billions of light years away through ripples in space-time. All of that is possible without breaking the limit, because the limit is not there to stop progress. It's there to keep the universe sane. Feynman would probably smile at this point, because it's exactly the kind of conclusion that feels unsatisfying to people who want a clean story. People want a final secret, a hidden switch, a loophole, a hack. But the truth is harsher. The speed of light is not negotiable. It is not a number you beat. It is the rate at which reality updates itself. You can try to outrun it, but you are not fighting physics. You are fighting the universe's ability to remain consistent. And the terrifying part is realizing that the speed limit is not a wall in front of you. It's the frame you're inside. So no, the speed of light is not just a fast number. It's the line between a universe that makes sense and a universe that collapses into contradictions.